Good morning, friends. Welcome to this live webinar. We are live on all the social media platforms, and as usual, today is Saturday. So today, is a webinar day for us. So if you're watching us from any social media platform like Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, you can communicate with us using the messaging function. Use the messaging function to send in your comments or questions. So today we are going to discuss about very important subject, and that is the validating your business ideas. How do you have come across various business ideas on regularly on almost daily basis, but whether this idea is going to succeed, whether this idea that you have got is going to yield into a very big business for you, or at least a moderate business, or at least a successful story it will create for you. So that is a topic of discussion, and in fact in today's webinar we will tell you step by step methodology in terms of how you can actually validate your idea. And if you want to basically set up your business, watch the previous webinar that we had broadcasted last Saturday, and that is about how to set up a new business. So this webinar is dedicated only on validation of the business idea. So I have Mr. Ibrahim watching live. Good morning, Ibrahim. So if you have any questions, any suggestions, feel free to use the chat function given in LinkedIn. All right, so this webinar is dedicated for validating your idea. So kindly follow step by step methodology, or all the steps that we tell you, and if you follow this, then you will be able to validate your business idea quite easily. So agenda for today is how do you identify that the people will be willing to pay for your idea. So that is agenda number one. Number two is in order to get the data points, you need to conduct the market research. So when you conduct the market research, what are the various successful methods for conducting market research? That is something that we will be telling you, informing you about this. Number three is whether you need to do any prototyping. Whenever you come up with an idea about a solution or a product, you need to come up with some sort of a prototype or some sort of a proof of concept. So how do you do that? What are the successful methodologies to conduct prototyping? And then once you have done all of these three very important steps, then how do you basically test your idea with a certain subset of potential customers? So that will give you a very good information that this idea has some sort of business potential, because there are customers who are willing to buy this product or services from you. And then how do you get the feedback for this business idea, and basically how do you create iterations on the idea itself, because you have come up with an idea but then you realize that this idea may not succeed as it is. You need to make some changes based on all these other 5 steps. So you need to basically be ready to basically make some changes to the business idea. So these are the things that we will be talking about today. And remember, all this is done before we actually invest in business, because if you do a lot of good planning, then your business will be very successful. So agenda has been clarified. Little bit introduction about Akulmach. I am the head of sales and president of Akulmach. Akulmach is a specialized company dedicated on guiding the startups and SMEs on their sales and marketing journey. And the way we do it is basically use the video platform to generate opportunities for you. So we are super specialized only in generating opportunities for our clients by using the video marketing methodology. And then there are different engagement points, and you can visit our website to get engaged with us. We have been in existence for last 6 years. We have helped more than 5,000 companies in our existence, and we have had not only in India but also in startup community outside India, also primarily in US and also in the Middle Eastern countries. So we have clientele everywhere across the world, and we work primarily specialized in startups and SMEs, and therefore we are the company who deal with these issues of validating ideas day in day out. In terms of our panel introduction, my introduction is I have nearly 30 years of industry experience. I've handled various senior leadership roles in the large corporations, and have done business in many countries, many continents. My CEO is Kanchan Verma, who is a co-presenter today, and she has about 33 years of industry experience, especially in the area of marketing, and she has also worked with large corporations. So both of us will conduct this webinar today and handle your queries. So the first item on the list is how do you identify a problem that people are willing to pay to solve? So that idea will be successful only when you have a problem that your idea is going to solve for the people, and once you are able to solve the problem, then only you will be able to attract revenue for your organization. So this section of the webinar will be presented by Kanchan, so don't go anywhere. She will be joining back right now after a few seconds.
Good morning, all set for this webinar, and yes, I will be telling you how to really do validation of the ideas, how to really move forward. So coming back to how to identify the problem that people are willing to pay, because paying is a very critical aspect of setting up any kind of business. So this is something really crucial for business setup. And you know, the problem, when we have to identify problems, so the problem we identify is not only related to your family and friends, because if you have a problem, you discuss with your family, you discuss with your friends, and you find fine, my known people have this problem, so this is a business I will be starting. It doesn't go like that, because you have to identify a problem which is universal, and where it is being affected by not only the small group of people, but also your entire community or maybe entire nation. So these kind of problem you have to identify, and then things will work out for you. So going forward, I would like to tell you that for example, if there is a problem of water, so water is a problem which is universal problem, and you have to find out a solution for water scarcity and drinking water scarcity. And there you have to find out the solution, and where the people are actually literally willing to pay for this cause, because they require water, they require a drinking water, fresh water, and they are willing to pay. Now at the same time, you have to find out so that is these are the pain points where you have to identify, these are the pain points, and I can work on these points. And at the same time, you have to really come up with a thorough study whether how many players are there in this segment, and how we can really create a niche of my services in this crowded workplace, a crowded product and services which is already there, because definitely it's a pain point for many people. But at the same time, are there any gaps where I can fit in, where I can fill? So for that, you have to do you have to make a client database, which is very crucial. And how you will be making a client database? With talking to your target market, to find out marketing research, to really go and find out with different kind of people what they are looking at. And I bet on this topic everybody will be with you. But the thing is that you have to find out that particular gap in the market, because in water purifying there's already many companies, and what extra you are giving in this market? What is that which is not available to the market? For example, if we take some Middle East company, there are many Middle East countries, and there are many countries who are not having sufficient drinking water. So what they are doing, they are converting those sea water into a drinking water, and they have established their own plant, their own machinery, and that is how they are solving the problem, which is a critical problem. And when we are talking about the finding out the problem points where people are willing to pay. And of course, in these countries, people are willing to pay for the drinking water, which is fresh and which is the need of the hour. So these are the gaps which you have to fill in. So you have to identify whether you are ready to find out, one, the pain point. Second, are you fitting in these gaps which you have already identified? So there are two things. Passion is fine. Last time we have discussed about the passion, but passion is there. But for your passion, are people willing to pay? And that is a crucial point before you start investing on any of your company aspect. Now, how many people are affected when I have put already an example of water scarcity? So there are many people who are affected by this one cause. So my cause, when I am establishing a company, my cause is that I have to be to actually solve the problem of water. But at the same time, you may have another different problem, and you have to find out that what are those pain areas for your passion, or for the product or services which you have identified. So this is something, and that here, when we are, how many people are affected by this problem, you have to do a market research, because people have different ideas for solving the same problem. So you have to cater those ideas along with the problem. So this is something very crucial. And then as I told you, are there any company that are ready to trying to solve the problem? So that means there's do you have any competition in that particular area, or the gap which you want to cater, or where whatever marketing research you have done, are you able to create a niche out of it? So that is also a very crucial point, and that where you have to really exert, you have to really find out the solution and create a solution for the people, for yourself, and this is how you will go ahead. So in case if you have any other questions regarding this topic, I will be happy to answer. And now going forward, I would like to we would like to give you insight on how to conduct a market research. And in the market research, my colleague will be joining you. Chandrakant will be telling you how to do a best and very critical aspect, which is marketing research before launching your company. So just hold for 1 minute. He will be joining you very soon.
All right, friends. So we have to now look at how do we conduct the market research. So before I move forward, I would like to inform you that the idea validation and identify the idea in order to become a business, you have to basically solve some sort of pain, because you may have an idea, but if it does not solve any pain of the industry, then people will not be able to pay any money, because if you solve any issue with that idea, then only people like to engage with you. So the first section, which was presented by Kanchan, is absolutely important, very very critical. Make sure that your idea for business is solving some issue in the market. All right, so before we proceed to the market research, because the research is also important, I'm reading, I'm going to display some people who are watching us live. Now, Federico Zago. Federico has joined us on LinkedIn, and Federico is saying good morning. Then there are a few others. Sanu Sakya, good morning. Akil Ahmed is also saying good morning. All right, so all of you, most welcome. And if you have any questions regarding the subject that we are discussing, and this is a webinar on basically validating your business idea. So you may have an idea, how do you validate? So this next step is very important. How do you basically collect the data points? When you are validating the business idea, you have to be very very you have to be very data driven, and therefore we have identified the problem that your idea is fulfilling in the market. And in order to validate this further, you need to do something called dipstick survey. Dipstick survey is nothing but, it's like suppose you're testing the temperature in a tumbler. You dip the thermometer into the water, and then you check the temperature. So dipstick survey is nothing but a dipstick into the market to conduct whether this idea is sellable or not sellable. So this is a dipstick survey, and how to do this dipstick survey is various methods are there. So one of the method is basically conducting a small email campaign. Or you could do email is just one method. You could also do SMS based survey. In today's environment, you don't have to do any door-to-door survey. You don't have to knock the doors of people and say that, hey, do you have this problem? You don't have to do that. So what you have to do is basically conduct some sort of a survey and ask for feedback. So when you ask for feedback, there could be some people who are giving feedback. And when you're doing dipstick survey, you have to ensure that you can do that within your own community. So suppose you have social media account, you can do a survey asking people that, hey, you have this, you're going to start this business, what do you think about that? And ask them straight away that are they going to make any payment against that solution that your new product or new services is going to provide. Because obviously if it is a pain for the people for which they are willing to pay money, so, and if you tell them that, look, I'm starting this, will you be willing to invest in this business or pay me for the services, because it is going to solve this problem for you in your life. So you can actually do this dipstick survey in a very small scale in your own ecosystem, in your own backyard, which is your social media accounts. And in today's world, it is very easy. 10 years back, almost last decade or 15 years back, this was a very difficult exercise and you needed to hire a specialist to do that. But in today's world, you have to do that. But remember, friend, this is a very important step, because whatever follows from now largely depends on this step. Because if this step is not done, then you will not be able to test the temperature of the market. You know, as I said, test the feel, whether this idea is sellable or not. So best way to ask is to ask your ecosystem and conduct a dipstick survey. So dipstick surveys are basically a short survey, sweet and short, quick, and it gives you some sort of information. So next level after having completed the dipstick survey is to basically collect interview based data. So having conducted a dipstick survey, you got a validation for the idea. You got that your idea is being purchased or bought over by 60 to 65% of the people. So when you have this confirmation from the dipstick survey, then you select few people from that dipstick and try and get an interview slot with them and ask them question. So why I'm saying this, why I have divided the survey into two categories, which is dipstick and then interview, because in dipstick it has to be very quick. If your dipstick survey includes a form, then you will not get the response, because people find it very, very difficult to fill a form and then they have to go and click somewhere and all that. So you will not be able to get that right output of your dipstick. So dipstick has to be done very crisply and in a short and simple, maybe one sentence, maybe few phrases will give you impact. So dipstick is a very short and sweet kind of a thing. However, the next step is, out of the dipstick, say for example, some 100 people have responded to your survey, you select few 5 or 8 or maximum 10 people and conduct an interview based survey. And here you can basically go little bit more detailed, and then you can probably ask them 10 question, 5 question, whatever. And it is a smartness, your smartness, how do you basically collect more information in minimum questions. So if you start asking lot of questions, then it basically even in an interview people get put off. So your interview at this stage, which is the second number for your research, should not exceed more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes. 15 minutes is a total stretch. So you make sure that your next level of interview, which you have selected from your dipstick, which is validating the idea further and essentially what people are willing to pay. What is the exact problem these 10 or 5 people that you have selected that they have? And this interview will also give you a lot of information about the pricing, how much people will be willing to pay you. Because say for example, your idea is a very killer idea, it solves certain problems of the industry, but your pricing, you don't have an idea how much you must be charging for it, how much you will be spending to fulfill the requirement, and how much you will be charging from the customer. Whatever your idea is and whatever your cost structure is, whether customer is willing to pay that cost to you, that also a very important aspect of running any business. So make sure that during an interview, you actually ask these questions related to how much the client is willing to pay, and that will give you a very good idea about viability of the business. And third step is to basically conduct a focus group discussion regarding product and services. Now, focus group discussion is important simply because in a group discussion, you can get an idea how do you plan to provide that service, or how do you plan to create that product. Whether you need to make some changes in your initial design, or the initial design is solving 50% of the pain and 50% of the pain still not solved. So probably you have to enhance little bit more into your initial design, or you think that your cost structure is going over the board and maybe customer does not require all that at this point in time, so you may need to scale down your offerings. So all of that will be very clear during the focus group discussion, and these things may not come out during the initial interview discussion. So therefore you plan in phases your marketing research or validation of the idea. First you do dipstick, which is a short and simple, then you select 10 people, conduct interview, then you ask a couple of them to come for a focus group discussion, and then go in detail. And then remember, all of these exercises you're doing to basically sign up for first few customers. So all of these people who join you for various activities will end up basically hiring you as a vendor. So they may end up paying for your services. So remember this is something which is very critical for validation of the idea. Now, going forward, you can also do secondary research. Now, the first research you've done in your own ecosystem, but I am saying that there is no second thought about getting more and more knowledge about the industry, about the customer behavior, about the idea, price point, etc. So secondary research is also important. That means you need to probably read some reports, you need to read some books, you need to understand the customer behavior and all that. So there is no second to the knowledge about the business that you are going to embark on that idea. So the whole game of running a successful business is to validate your idea upfront, because many people don't do the validation. They think that this is something, if others are selling, I will also sell, and since others are successful, I will also be successful. These are very vague assumptions. So if you're knowledgeable about the business, more knowledge, it is very beneficial. So it never hurts to obtain more knowledge, and reading research and reading different government reports, online database on Google. If you can do a lot of research, secondary research, which is indirect research, that will be beneficial for you. Now the next step is to basically create a prototype. See, you have done a lot of research, you have got the validation of the idea, you have also managed to convince some of your friends and family friends, and also some of the prospective clients to come on a focus group discussion, and you have also done a lot of research, secondary research. So you got a fairly good idea. How do you basically go about selling this idea that you have come across? So the next step is basically prototyping. So nobody wants to pay upfront for something new. So of course you're solving the pain point of a client, but then how you're going to do it, how your product is going to solve the problem, how your service is going to fit into the ecosystem of the client, that has not been seen. So in order to sign up for first few customers, you need to create a prototype. You need to create a system where the proof of the pudding can be demonstrated. And so when we say prototyping, it's not the prototyping of a scientific equipment. It's a prototype of even a website where you create some service and you say that, look, if you sign up now, there is going to be a testing phase where I will provide free service to you. So prototyping has a lot of advantages, but I don't want to jump the gun, because my colleague Kanchan will come and take you through the journey of prototyping. Don't go anywhere, and she'll be joining soon. And I have few more people watching us. M underscore is saying good morning. Good morning, M underscore. If you have any questions, feel free to send it across. So friends, I will be leaving for few minutes, and Kanchan will be taking my place, where she will be taking you through the journey of prototyping. Don't go anywhere.
Hello. So all the pain points has been identified, and things are really looking quite positive. So now the prototype. The prototype is an essential step in setting up any new business. And why prototype? Because we are also, this is a kind of a documentation. So we have the idea what actually exactly we are offering, and since we have done a marketing research also, we know the pain points also. So you are fairly okay, we are fairly prepared to launch it. Half journey has been completed. Now making prototype is very essential aspect of setting up any company, because how it starts on the paper. So you can take few points, you write it, you design it. You have to really work on the look and feel of your product, or kind of if you are selling services, so what kind of services, what are the benefits which is being provided to people in terms of your services. So you have to write it down. It's a rough documentation, and you have to do it, because feel and touch, how they will react. If I am making a product for my dinner table, is it light or it is heavy? How I will be holding the feel of that product when I hold it, and the look of the product, will it gel with my surroundings, or will it gel with my dining table etiquettes? All that is to be designed, to be written on the rough paper. You can revisit that rough paper, and this is the first step, and everybody should take this step going forward. So what, as I told you, prototype is that creating the sensation of your, not the sensation, but creating a plan for your product or services. And in this way, when you are launching a product or launching a services, that creates a waves in the market. So prototype is making what exactly you want to offer to the people, and you are just converting that idea, that passion, into that pain point into a reality. So that is a prototype. So, and that start, as I told you, with the paper. So you should have that whole idea written down on the paper, and this is how a cycle of prototype actually work. You have to learn what exactly you are offering, then you have to do a measurement and build up, and then you have to do priority, because there are many changes at a very initial stage you will be doing on your prototype, and that is an essential part of designing of and doing a prototype of any product or any services. So so this is again, it will help you to test your idea. This is, as I told you, it is the important aspect before you launch any company. Now the second point is okay, when you are trying to do a little bit of real time, where designing is there, where you can use a virtual platform for that. There are many people who, when they are launching any product, they are actually taking the help of 3D printer. So all that is the second stage, where you are a little serious about what you are offering. And in this you have to put forward all the interior, not only the design part. Suppose if it's a engineering part, so you have to really mention, and it can go on virtual slides also, because ultimately you have to share these to your investors, to your customer. They should know exactly what you are offering. So this is again a second stage. Now the third stage is again very important, because here you have ultimately become very, very serious about the launch of your product, and where you are actually designing and putting shape to your product or your services, where finally you have actually tested by yourself, and you have created a product or services also, where you have taken the inputs also, and accordingly you have created. And suppose if it is related to any mobile sets creation, or any engineering aspect, or any machinery, you have to take expert advice also, because sometimes you can't do everything yourself. So you be ready in third step to take the advices of the expert to do a prototype of your product and services. So this is again an essential indication, and once you are done with that, then you need to have a feedback with the potential user, the usability, the functionality of your product or services, how effective, how interesting is these services are for the customer or for the end user. Are they ready to really pay it, and they like the idea, and they are actually waiting for your services or waiting for your product, that when you are launching it and where I will be the first customer to buy it. So something like that feel is given. At the same time, this is also related to the supply chain, how you will be supplying. It is not a question of one product, but how you will be making multiple products. I mean, a huge amount of products to cater the huge customer data set which you have done it. You have to establish the supply chain because that is again a very crucial aspect of your prototype listing, prototype making. So would you able to reach to your the last customer who needs your product? So that is again is a part of a prototype. You have to develop it, and these are few crucial and points before you really invest money in setting up your company. So again the same kind of thing you have to suppose. And the last thing is, suppose if there are changes which are being suggested by customer or by the expert in your design, in your usability, in your functionality. So please be ready to really do that, because that is again, because you are testing the market. You have already, as we have discussed in marketing research, you are doing that, and that is why it is essential that you should be ready to change your plans according to the feedback which is being given by market and the expert. So what happens if you are making a prototype that reduce the risk, because you are passionate about your product, you have taken the feedback, but you are not making a prototype to test the waters in the market, then and you are launching the product, there are many chances that you may end up in getting losses, and the product launch is not perfect. That's why it has not reached to the target customer. And the whole point is that you should that your product or services should reach to the last customer you have in your whole database. So prototype is quite an essential activity. It's the activity once you are done with the marketing research and have found out the pain point. So it is a really very good exercise, and everybody should do this exercise. And now the crucial point is how to test these idea with the potential customer. I had been talking to you that you have to do to create a prototype, and again you have to take the feedback from the expert, feedback from the customer. But there are ways how to really test the potential potential customer. Are they ready with your product? Are they happy with your product? Are they ready to buy the product? And are they really interested in your prototype, and they are willing, they are actually waiting when you are launching the product? And this topic will be discussed by Chandrakant, so just wait for 1 minute. He will be with you and will give you a very interesting insight regarding this topic, how to test your business idea with a potential customer.
All right, friends, before we proceed on this subject, there is a question which I want to handle. This question is from our viewer Zedrico Zago from LinkedIn. I'm displaying Zedrico your question here on the screen, and the question is I'm going to read it from my mobile also. I'm setting up a sales service which helps business to sell more and close more. So basically, you're setting up a online service portal where you want to take it to the people whoever subscribe to your service to sell more and succeed, basically. So sell quicker, faster, and bigger value. That is your objective of your service. And this is going to be a training CRM prospecting tool. And you are a consultant with 20 years experience, so you are fairly a seasoned player, and you have also done your dipstick analysis of this business idea, and you personally believe this is something which is going to be very, very successful. And you have also done all of these activities since you are very seasoned with substantial amount of industry experience. Can you provide a practical example of prototyping for this service? All right. So, Federico, if I was in your position and if I have to do services based new idea implementation, especially when it comes to implementation of sales functions and including CRM, etc., what I would do is basically identify first top 10 to 20 clients and look at what is that they are finding problematic. Now, we are all part of the industry, and the biggest problem is to basically close deals. So any customer, your sales engine CRM based customer would face the issue of closures and also identification. So how do you basically go and identify the paying client? That is the feature of your clientele who will be willing to pay some amount to you for making that connection happen. So how do you basically make sure that your system works? In my opinion, if I run this CRM based sales service, I would actually like to offer first few connections for free. And in terms of prototyping, I would use the social media for prototyping. I will not create any other email based system for prototyping of my CRM. Now, how I will use prototyping for my sales services is basically ready to use features available in the social media, which is creating a group. So if you are in LinkedIn or Facebook or even on YouTube, you can create these very focused groups, and then you provide some sort of incentives to the group members. Initially, you make the group as a free joining fee, but subsequently you can actually charge a small amount of fee to join that group. And Facebook provides fee collection. I'm not sure whether LinkedIn provides, but whichever social media provides for you to create a system which works. Basically, your CRM will work, if I'm not mistaken, Zedrico, your CRM is supposed to do the handshaking between two parties who are both part of your ecosystem. If that is the correct understanding, please let me know. Send me the message whether our understanding is right. But if that is happening and you don't want to invest in building the system, you could do that using the social media groups, where you actually essentially do the same thing and you make the connection happen using the social media groups. And that is a good enough prototyping for free, because you are now doing prototyping for free using social media groups. You can offer for free, and then you can also subsequently enhance the group function for a charge function, where instead of inviting them to your system, you can actually conduct this whole payment exercise through groups. All right, so your CRM is part of the package. So essentially, you're saying that, hey, come and register on my website, and then based on what you're looking for, I will do some sort of matchmaking and give you ready-made leads, isn't it? So that can be done. When it comes to prototyping, it can be done beautifully without any extra cost using the social media groups. So this is the way I would do it. For first 45 days to 2 months, like 60 days, where I actually run a group, do a lot of conversations in the group, see what are the reactions, what kind of clientele people are looking for. And initially you will invite your own ecosystem, people who are part of your ecosystem, and they are connected with you on social media. You can invite them to a group membership, conduct various exercise within the group, and see whether this connection works. And if that works at a small scale in your ecosystem, then you can scale it up using your portal, sales portal, which will have CRM and whole lot of features in it, where there will be a customer acquisition exercise, there will be a payment exercise, and all and so on and so forth. There could be recurring payments, there could be commission based payments. All of that can be implemented. But whether this ecosystem of yours, when it comes to prototyping, whether they are going to pay to test that, I think the best method in today's world is to go through social media groups and then migrate the group function to your portal. So this is the way I think of prototyping, without investing a lot of money, without putting a lot of money in prototyping itself, because this kind of solution is readily available on social media platforms, and you can do it without any ado. So Federico, let me know if you have any other question, or if you agree with me, or you have any other suggestion. Please let me know. All right, so moving on to the next subject is, how do you test the business idea with potential customer? That is the next subject, because now you have done the prototyping, you have done the research, you have also got the idea validated through your own ecosystem. Now the next step is, how do you actually convert that into a client, your ecosystem into a client? So now you have done the prototyping, you have actually provided the system to selected few customers, and basically now you're saying that, look, this customer, when they start using your product or services, what is their feedback? And that can come only when you start interviewing, user experience based interview. So for that you need to prepare some sort of questions, and you have to take the customer feedback. When you take the customer feedback, that will become part of future enhancements, future patches to your software, or future improvement to your product line. You must ensure that at this stage you have to incorporate the customer feedback into your offering, because if you don't do that, then your product will not become robust, it will not become mature, or your services will not scale up. So any business will require scaling up. So at every point in time, the customer feedback is very, very important. If you see that if you are using social media, even social media guys, they are so much huge platforms, having billions of users, but they are doing surveys every 2 months or every quarter. Even large companies are doing customer surveys, and the surveys are very methodically planned, and they are doing electronically. They're collecting feedback from the users like you and me. So even large corporations are doing this kind of survey. So customer surveys, customer feedback is absolutely important, absolutely critical for improvement of your product and scalability of your service line. So make sure that you conduct this. Initially you have to probably do it once a month. You have to do it electronically, probably send a link, not having more than 5 forms. Collect in case customer is facing any issues, get his sincere feedback, ensure that you are able to satisfy these first few customers, and do whatever you want in order to get the benefit out of it. Then the next step would be, once you have done this customer feedback implementation, first hiccups that customer has given you, you have implemented those, and then next step would be to do basically the usability testing. Usability testing is that because your first few clients will be probably free, so you are using them to test out your products or your services. So usability product basically, usability testing of the product basically means that how the entire life cycle of your offerings will behave. And are there any hiccups? Are there any some features are missing from the ecosystem of your product? As I said, that you had done a lot of planning initially, you have modified the products, but when it lands into the field, then it's a totally different ball game, because planning can be done. The best planning can give you only 70% solution. 30% will still come from the market. So make sure that and that 30% is very critical for the success and failure of your business which you are embarking on. So make sure that the usability testing is done, whether the first few customers do it for you or whether you pay for it, or there are different mechanisms for this usability testing. In fact, usability testing is very, very important. Say, for example, if you're running a website, then usability testing becomes very, very important, because things are happening completely offline, where none of your representative are standing in front of your client. It is, your interaction is happening through the website. So if the website is very interactive, it is providing a lot of services, then it is a mature offering. And suppose you are offering in a multilingual environment, since we are looking in living in global economy, the chances are that our customers will be all across the world, and they will also have different languages. So say, for example, if you're selling a product, then you must have a manual explaining everything in multiple languages like Spanish, Hindi, Chinese, English. So you must be able to communicate. Now, if you're running a website, it is a lot easier, because you can provide multilingual website, and therefore usability testing is very important when it comes to web-based services, because if the language is getting translated of your website, then does it change any meaning? And therefore, for usability testing, you need to have a user who knows that language, and it should not happen that even though you have used some translating software for translating the whole aspect, but it should not change the meaning of what you want to convey. So therefore, this is an important aspect of basically making sure that your business is robust. Next is crowdfunding. Now, why I'm talking about crowdfunding at this stage is because crowdfunding will provide all of this that we have discussed so far. Crowdfunding is a mechanism where you actually select few of your customers to pay for your services at a discount upfront. So essentially, crowdfunding will provide you all of these benefits of conducting dipstick, conducting usability tests, conducting some sort of a focused group discussion, customer feedback. All of that will be part of crowdfunding. Also, the first few clients will get discounts. They will also be doing testing for you for free. So make sure that if you can implement the crowdfunding mechanism in your business, make sure that you do that, because crowdfunding not only provide investment for signing up the first few customers, but also provide a lot of these benefits that we have discussed so far, which will help mature your idea for the business. So even though you may be looking for investor, or you may be doing self-funding of this business, but make sure that certain portion of your business is funded by crowd, because crowd funding will give you all kinds of benefits for making sure that your product matures and your services also matures. And A and B testing is something which is you may be aware of this testing, but A and B testing basically means, what if you select A, then set of parameters will be tested out and how your product or services behave. However, if the customer selects B, say for example, if you have a pipe as a product, then you say that left side has to be used to fit into something, but then customer use right side, then B. So testing A and B, what happens if this is done, and what will happen if this is not done. So FAQ will come, the frequently asked questions will come once you've done the A and B testing. Now, you may not have answers to everything, but if you have done testing, then the field, the market intelligence will provide all the answers of positive testing and also negative testing, which is also known as A and B testing. So usability testing, crowdfunding, these are the mechanisms for actually testing the water in terms of maturity of your product, maturity of your business, and also the service levels that the customer expect, and what is the service cost that you will have to incur in implementing this idea, whether you are making enough money in the end, whether this idea is going to give you enough money in the end is important. So the next subject is how to overall get the feedback of your business idea. That will be presented by my colleague Kanchan. So don't go anywhere. She'll be right back with you.
So, hello, and I'm sure that you must have learned about many things, how to start the business, what the initial phase which you, before starting the business, before setting up, before investing money, you should be doing. Now the next point is how to really get overall feedback. The feedback is really, really very important. So how to get a feedback of your business idea? You are passionate about your business. You have done all prototype steps to do it. Then you have also taken the ideas, the money. You have already done background on how to get the money. That is all fine. So you now need to get the feedback. Now feedback is a very where you will go, I mean, how you will get a feedback. You will just go down of your company, or maybe do something, or maybe you catching hold of one person and then asking about the feedback of your product. No, that is not the way, because you have to go step by step. So your feedback should be quantitative and qualitative. Both aspects should be done in the feedback finding. Now start with the target market. That is very essential. You can use with the target market who these people are. So when you are going to the target market, you have to identify three things, or at least two things: whether the target market is interested in your idea, and that is one. Second, though this is your target market and they are interested also, they appreciate your product, but are they willing to pay? So these are few crucial points when you are targeting those customer whom you think is a target market for you. So that start with the community. And when we are talking about the community, you can actually first start with your family and friends, because they will give real feedback sometimes, and sometimes they also tend to give a biased feedback, but you will get the feedback. So first is that you are asking with your known people all the feedback, your family, your friends, your colleagues. So they will give you the feedback, but the authenticity, or maybe little bit biased, because they are your family members, and to get unbiased feedback, you have to formulate the strategies to get the right feedback, which is unbiased feedback. So first thing is that you have to read the surveys which is being conducted by all these reports are there in the Google, and if you have if the Google is providing similar kind of survey reports, you can identify the feedback and then you gel with the situation where you are in. So that is one aspect of thing. Next is that you can actually go and maybe physical feedback which is very much required, and you can make a small stall for one day and stand and give the pamphlet and ask them to really give the feedback. But how many people will give the feedback in this way? So you need to actually go and attend the events, maybe conferences, distribute your pamphlet, discuss about your idea, discuss what you had done, what are the pain points you have catered, and now you're willing to solve these problems of the people, and then find out how many people are interested in your product. So this is one thing. And second is that you can ask these people to test your product and then give a feedback, provide them a feedback form and ask them after testing what is their feeling regarding the utility, regarding the touch and design. So all that is great feedback you can have through this. Now there are everything you cannot do, because sometimes you have to delegate the work to others people, and here the attendance of a coach or a mentor or somebody who is an expert in your field comes into picture, and that is also one way. And to find out who can guide you in the feedback, he had been catering your type of product in the market, so that is also one way to get the feedback. It is a very good feedback because you can take the advantages of people who have already in this market, and they have accepted the challenges, they have fought the challenges and came out victorious. So this is also one of the very lovely and very crucial part of your business. So now suppose, for example, if there's a website and you want to test the website, how people will react. People find, oh my god, I don't like the buttons of colors of the button, they are so dull. So this is a feedback. Now you may get a feedback of your buttons like they don't change color. I want that button should, when I click put the cursor, it should like come out as a bubble and it burst, and then I should enter to the next page. So all these kind of feedback is required. Why? Because the other person will say, because I love breaking the bubbles on the bubble paper, and that same feel I want on my website. So this is a feedback for you. So all these feedback are very valuable, and it is crucial for your services and business. So this is it. We have Renu saying hello Renu, how are you? And now we have a next topic, which is about how to iterate on your business idea, how to just establish the business idea. So for this topic, my colleague Chandrakant will be joining you very soon. Please don't go away. Just let me take a break of 1 minute.
All right, friends. So we have given a lot of emphasis on the research and customer feedback in today's webinar, and the feedback is very important for running any business. See, what happens is that whenever we get an idea, we feel very enthusiastic and you are emotionally attached to the idea. Therefore, we want to basically tell you that getting idea is important, because ideation is the most important part of running a business. But how do you validate it? Because if you get 100 ideas, all hundreds will not become successful business. So therefore, feedback, research is an important part of validating the idea. Now, if you look at the investor community also, because I have seen one message from Abraham, who was who was now looking for funding. Abraham, if I'm not mistaken, in the healthcare space. So now even the funding agencies will not put all their eggs in one basket, because they are much more mature than people like you and me. They are actually the putting money behind an idea. So they themselves are not sure whether this idea will succeed or not. So they don't want to put all their money behind one particular idea. They want to basically put their money in 10 different ideas, because even if out of the 10, if 2 will succeed for them, they will actually end up making a lot of money behind those ideas. So even the investors are not putting all their money behind one particular idea, which is coming from the industry itself, from their point of view. So when you are starting your business, you have to ensure that the idea is completely validated, well researched, the entire life cycle of the business is calculated upfront, the cost structure, all of these things are already done with in your mind, or in a book, or the strategy has to be very well defined. So the next point is you should be able to iterate on your business idea. What is the meaning of iteration? Iteration basically means that you are able to make changes. So you are not too emotionally attached to the idea. You have an idea. During the journey of getting different research done and also collecting customer feedback, you have got some feedback, and which probably force you to change the original idea into something different. So you should be able to change that. You should be prepared, mentally prepared to change that, so that your product can be more become business viable. It remains more of a business related stuff. And therefore we are emphasizing on prototyping. Prototyping will help you reduce the risk, because a portion of your idea will then become a reality, and then it will go into the market where the actual customer use the prototype and provide you feedback. So it's no longer in the mind, it has actually gone into the field. People have used it and then given feedback. Very, very important, because you don't want to invest a lot of money in business only to learn that the business idea is either obsolete, not solving all the issues of the customer, not resolving all the pain points, and maybe your pricing has gone wrong, maybe you're not making enough money. If the money is not coming, then your business idea will not succeed. So therefore prototyping plays a major role in making sure that you don't go wrong, and all of these things are required. So initially when we started the webinar, we told you that if you follow these steps, you will, likelihood is that you will succeed in your business. So this is sort of a summary of today's webinar, where you collect the potential users' feedback around usability and functionality of your product or services. So they may give you some guidance, they may give you some feedback. You may or may not include all that feedback, but you will do some analysis that, okay, majority of the customers are raising these concerns. So if the majority of the customer feedback is pointing out one particular issue, then you must solve it. You cannot satisfy all the 100 customers, but you must satisfy at least the majority of it. And then if you have other issues which are part of the usability feedback, you can probably keep them for future releases or future enhancements to your product or services. But if you don't have this, then you will not know whether this you need some sort of a enhancement of your product, etc. Number 3 is you have to be data driven. You must be your decisions must be backed by some sort of research document, some sort of planning document, some sort of stuff which is well thought through, and you have done some research, and these are real research. These are not whims and fancies from your imagination. These are coming directly from the field. So make sure that your approach to business is always data driven, and you don't go wrong. If you have something which is part of a document, then you will be able to analyze what changes you have made, and what is there any cost escalation, and the chances are that you will not miss out on various important aspects if your data is very crisp and very clear. So make sure that your approach to business is always data driven. And the last is that you are the pivot is that you are the fulcrum of the entire business. So success of the business, success of the idea, success of the revenue is largely depend on you. You have to take that responsibility, your ownership of all of that, as part of your ecosystem, as part of your customer feedback, implementation of customer satisfaction survey, implementation of usability testing, implementation of mechanism where you actually get the market intelligence automatically looped back to you, so that you're constantly enhancing your customer inputs and constantly enhancing the services or the product offerings. So therefore, in my opinion, you can actually create a system, a scenario, or a company, and based on this data driven approach, and you are the fulcrum of your company. So you play a very, very major role in ensuring that this idea succeed, and you are able to validate the business idea from the market. So make sure that follow through all these steps that we have told you. In case you want more information, you can have a one-on-one discussion with us also, where we can analyze your problem statement and try to provide you solution. On this side, bottom below, there is a link. There is a method of booking the one-to-one slot with us is also given here. On our website, you can go and choose one-on-one slot, and then we can give you guidance based on our understanding, etc., and guide you through the whole process of setting up your new business. So friends, thanks for joining us live today in our business webinar. Next Saturday, 11 a.m., we'll be coming out with a new subject, which is about how do you sell product digitally. So if you're interested in selling the product digitally, for example, Federico is having a digital offering. So how do you sell effectively is the next subject for the next Saturday, 11 a.m. Don't go anywhere, and join us back at 11 next Saturday. So friends, we would like to say goodbye for today, and as I said, if you have any further question, feel free to send it across. We will address it. If you want one-on-one discussion with us, use the link given below in the description, or use the method which is described on this side, bottom left corner of the screen, and we'll be with you to guide you through your journey of your setting up a new business. So friends, have a nice week ahead. Happy selling, and goodbye for today.